My full name,
Full name.
Arthur Norton.
Arthur Norton.
Yes, sir.
Where were you born?
In Tallahassee.
Tallahassee, in what year?
In 1874.
1874. And when did you move to Citrus County?
I moved here in Citrus County in 1900.
Hello friends, welcome back to Floral City, the real old Florida. I'm sure you're going to be really happy that you joined us today. Today we're going to be talking to a beautiful lady here in Floral City. Her name is Miss Elida Langley. A lot of you know her, a lot of you love her, and the people who don't know her are going to love her after this show. We're also going to visit today the Floral City Community Cemetery. There's many of our ancestors that are buried there, and it is a wonderful piece of the Florida Black Heritage Trail. We're going to tell you a lot about some of the people that were there, and we're also going to show you the beauty of the area that it is in. Tell you a little bit of history about it as well. So for right now though, for the first segment, we're going in to meet Miss Elida Langley at the Mount Carmel Methodist Church in Floral City. Come on, join along. Good morning.
Good morning.
Hi, how are you? Thank you so much for meeting me here and coming to see me. Friends, I would like to introduce you to a beautiful lady we have here in Floral City. She has been here, I believe, most of your life, if not all of your life, correct? This is the beautiful and the talented Elida Langley. So thank you so much for coming to join us. Like I said earlier, I kind of take for granted that you're like my auntie. I mean, I've known you since I was a little girl, and people are like, Miss Elida. I'm like, Miss Elida, I know her. So, well, I'm really grateful, you know, with me doing the history and the heritage and stuff. It is Black History Month. Right. We do not have a lot of that history that's out, and you are the lady to talk to. And I'm so honored and grateful that you have, you know, agreed to come and talk to me. What was it like here? I mean, when you grew up here, can you tell me a little bit about your family and what it was like to be born here and the things they did in the community?
My grandparents were from another part of Florida, and they all migrated here when they had the phosphate mines in the early 1900s. But my mother and my father both were born in Citrus County, and I am also too.
Very good. A Citrus County and through and through.
So at this point, we're like sixth generation history here in Floral City and Citrus County.
That's great. Well, and you've made quite an impact, as did your ancestors. I mean, your family had businesses here in this section of town, and people don't realize that Floral City, everybody says, oh, it was bigger than Miami, and it was, but that was even before the phosphate mines hit. It was like 300 versus 100 population, and then the phosphate mines came in, and the population grew to almost 10,000.
Right.
9,400 or 9,600 of which I hear were African American.
Right.
So they built our community.
Right.
You know, you built, your families built this community and stayed. What do you think, I mean, after the phosphate and stuff, why do you think they stayed here in this area?
They stayed as long as they were making ends meet and income to come in. When the phosphate mines left, there was not much to do besides the citrus, and it was not near as much of that as it was the phosphate mines. Because there were 10 mines, 11 mines here in Floral City.
Right, very close by.
Yes. So when the mines closed, they had to go find work elsewhere, so they left the houses and all here and moved to other places.
But your family didn't?
No, they didn't.
What do you think the reason was that they stayed here? I mean, did they just like the community? They'd put roots down here? Is it?
Well, they made do. They did options, like a lot of people will only do this and move to where you work. They made other things work for them. Because my grandfather ran the store and he was a minister. And they farmed and did what they had to do to make a living. Taking
what life gives you and making the best you have out of, you know, circumstances change. A lot of people aren't able to roll with those things these days, and it really puts them under. And that's that surviving pioneer spirit that built Floral City. So now you personally, you've been raised in Floral City, but you've been all through the county. You were head of the courthouse, I believe.
Well, I
Give me
worked,
your title there.
well, before then I worked for the state representative, Dick Clark, and then I also worked for WTI at that time, was WTI, the Technical Knights College, but at that time it was a school to help people to learn trades and all, and I taught the adult literacy and taught sewing there.
Sewing, yes, that brings me to another thing. You are quite the talented and gifted seamstress. I know myself personally, I was in Rainbow Girls here in Floral City, Troop 124, and we had to go to these grand assemblies, and we had all these formal gowns, and they all had to be made out of a certain material. I believe it was dotted Swiss is what they picked at the time.
Right.
And Miss Elida made me a dress that had 10 yards of material in just the skirt of this dress. And I've got pictures of them all, of course, somewhere. But clear to my wedding dresses and things that you did for me, and you've just been such a huge part of my life. And
Thank you.
you are a huge part of Floral City. And that's one of the reasons I wanted to talk to you. Again, you don't see this. People say, wow, that was all there. There were churches, obviously.
Right.
There were
4 churches here.
4 churches,
And one is still in the regular estate as it was when it was in 1900, and that is Pleasant Hill Baptist Church down the street.
It's on, the state has come through and done a few years ago the Black Heritage Trail for the Florida state, the state of Florida. And Citrus County is honored to have 2 places. And not only Citrus County, Floral Cityans are honored and proud and grateful that they're both right here in our community.
Yes.
So that's great. And Pleasant Hill Baptist Church, like you said, it's still down here?
Yes, and it's the original. They've done some repairs, but it's original.
Right, okay. The other place is the cemetery, Floral City Community Cemetery. And you have some family buried there as well?
Yes, there were 2, Frazier and Williams. The sinkhole divides the William Frazier Cemetery.
Right. And I grew up actually right across from there, so I spent a lot of time growing up in that cemetery and looking, around there and stuff. And just recently, I went back over there to look around, and I had to stop and ask, call you and ask, hey, was that sinkhole always there? I don't remember that when I was a kid, but.
As far as I know now, I don't know what was before my time.
Well, and you friends will definitely see when we get out there that other section, the Williams section of the cemetery, has just got the most unbelievably peaceful spirit. And there's a tree there that we're going to show you. I like to call the guardian. And so I'll show you that. It kind of watches over everybody there. So, all right, well, we will be right back, and we will talk to Miss Elida a little bit more. We're going to go outside and maybe see if we can't get a little perspective of what the town was like back in the early 1900s.